What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the Born Offside podcast. We've changed things up a little bit here because we've gotten rid of OLANTEKKERS. We haven't gotten rid of Olan. He's gone to the UFC.
Just today.
All the way in Perth. He's coming back tonight.
Yeah, he went to fight Volkanovski.
He went to fight Volkanovski. Not sure how that turned out, but we'll catch up with him next week. But we've got a fantastic replacement. I'm kind of happy that he's away because we've got Patrick Yazbek on the couch. Patty, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
No, my pleasure.
It's good timing as well because Sydney is apparently, I've been reading, Sydney Sky Blue at the moment, right? There was a massive derby win.
The results would suggest that it is.
Yeah, a lot of grumpy people out west. But we're going to talk a bit about the derby, but also the news that you're moving overseas as well. So it's great to chat to you this week. It's your last week in Sydney.
Yeah, last week. I fly out Sunday morning or midday.
You still got one more game?
Yeah, I still got the Brisbane Roar game, and then the flight is 3 p.m. on Sunday. So.
Are you all packed up, ready to go?
No.
Are you a last-minute packer?
Yeah, like honestly, it still hasn't even sunk in. Like it doesn't feel real, so I'm sort of just going through the motions at the moment.
Yeah.
And I've got like a little list of things I need to do. So
is anyone flying over with you?
No, I'm going on my own for starters because the team's actually going to be in Marbella in Spain.
Oh, beautiful.
Doing like a pre-season sort of thing.
I want to go.
Yeah, so I got to go to Abu Dhabi, then Madrid, and then Marbella. So a couple of flights, and then I'm there for like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Right.
And then both my parents are going to follow me over for a couple of weeks when I get to Norway.
Good
and
Lebanese parents making sure you're safe.
Yeah,
Love it.
They can't not come, they have to. And then after a couple of weeks when I'm settled in, they'll come back to Sydney, come back to reality.
Well, you're a proper Sydney FC product. I mean, you've been in the academy for 6 years as well, but you would have played. I know you've played with the Olyroos. You would have travelled a little bit. Have you lived away from home?
Yeah, like actually, cool story. So last year when I first came into the A-League setup, I live in southwest Sydney, so my area became one of those hot spots.
Yeah.
And I get a call one day from our manager, Swibs, and he goes, "Yaz, you need to move because you're in a hotspot and." You know, they're being very strict, the PFA with the rules, whatever.
Right.
If, as of 11 p.m. tonight, if you're in your area, you're not allowed to leave.
Shit.
It's like, shit. So I'm just calling people, where do I go? So I ended up going to my auntie's house who lives in Strathfield.
Okay.
And I stayed there for like a week and a half, and then bang, Strathfield gets locked down.
No.
So I'm like, oh, what do I do? So I kept looking around, and I found just like a random place in North Ryde, which is like 5 minutes around the corner from our training.
Yeah.
So then I moved in there on my own and lived there during COVID lockdown for about 3-4 months.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So that's like a little taste. And I guess it's going to be similar conditions because I couldn't leave the hotel after training. You know, I had permission to go to work and that's it.
Right.
So when I'd come back, you know, I'd maybe go to Coles, get some food and cook some dinner that night. But, you know, it was, I feel like I've had a taste for that. And, especially this last year, going to Vietnam for a month, being in lockdown with the ACL.
Yeah.
And then going to Uzbekistan with the Olyroos for like 6 weeks. You know,
you're ready.
I feel like I'm ready. And like, to be really honest, after the Olyroos campaign, you know, I was on my way home and I just felt like I'm not ready to go home, you know. So I think I'm well prepared. Like, in the moment, I'm going to miss everyone. But once I get there, I think I should be sweet.
Massive. For those who don't really know or haven't read the news, he's on his way to Viking FK. You know what FK stands for, Kat?
Football club.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know that outside. I was,
wow.
I felt really stupid. I was like, what does FK? Why does every team have FK? Football club. Makes sense.
So club in Norwegian starts with a K.
Seems like it, right?
Yeah,
it seems that way. On his way to Viking, you're joining a few Aussies over there as well. Have you been chatting with them?
Yeah. I've been in touch with Daggers, especially. Obviously, he moved over not too long ago, so just like trying to get a bit of information. But he's kind of on the same boat in a sense where, you know, the season hasn't started yet. Yeah. So they're doing their pre-season camps in and around Europe, and he hasn't even found a place to settle in yet. So
right. Are you living with him or any other boys?
So he's got his partner there. So and you know what? To be honest, I kind of want to move in on my own. I feel like I work better in my own space, and I'll be able to focus more. Right. On my own. Yeah.
So he's taking his partner over there. Be careful. You know you got to be careful about Kat.
What?
I was worried for Paddy.
Yeah.
Scandinavian girls.
Oh yeah.
You got to be careful with Scandinavian girls. You know that.
I know you know that.
No, I do know that. Scandinavian girls not good news, Paddy.
I'm not going there for the girls.
No, you're not going there for girls.
I'm just going there to work hard and get out of there.
100%. But once you're bagging goals for Viking, the Scandinavian girls are going to circle. You don't want none of that. They're bad news. Producer Shabs knows exactly what was. Producer Shabs, we were having this conversation the other day about your mate. I'm going to out him on the show. Your mate's fallen in love with a Swedish girl, wasn't it? And he's considering moving over there. Bad news. A mate of mine, good player actually. I know I'm sidetracking here. Mate of mine, good player, actually played in the A-League.
Yeah.
Fun fact. Not going to say his name though. He went and played a bit of college in the States after playing in the A-League, and he fell in love with a Danish girl. And he moved his whole life to Copenhagen. Doesn't play anymore. I'm not saying it's going to happen to Paddy. Paddy's going to go there and he's going to smash it. But I'm just saying, Be aware.
Wow.
Of course.
Okay, be aware.
No
New fear
distractions.
unlocked.
But you're smart.
Football.
enough. Yeah, exactly right.
That's it.
Football's all you need. Football will take you many
That's it.
places, as
Exactly
Ronaldo
right.
said in that ad. Remember?
Yeah, I
Okay,
do.
you know what I'm talking about. All right, but we wanted to see how prepared you are for Norway. Like, how much have you done? Like a lot of research on the country?
I haven't.
Okay.
My family has. I feel like they're more.
They're all
you
over
know, yeah, they've got a lot more information than what I do. But yeah, it's cold. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure
I
it's
think
cold.
it is.
Yeah.
I think I've done a little bit. Like it's between 5 and -5 degrees at the moment. And
It's pretty cold.
yeah, and
That is
then the
wild.
sun rises at like 9 a.m. and sets at 4 p.m.
Shit.
So it's
So
not
there's a
much
nice
daylight.
little window of opportunity there.
Yeah,
to get some
yeah,
sunshine.
yeah. So
Damn.
honestly, I'm like kind of off the cuff kind
Yeah.
of guy. So I feel
Just
like I'll
roll
just
with it.
roll with it and just figure it out when I get there.
It's better than playing in an Aussie summer, but surely you'd rather it be freezing cold day than like 30 degrees.
100%.
Yeah, so that'll be all right. Football wise, that'll be good.
Yeah.
I'm going to test a little bit of your knowledge here. What's the capital city of Norway?
Oslo.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
right. 1 point
nice,
there. Well, you know that one,
nice.
Kat?
I did know that. My
Okay.
geography is
I actually
pretty
only
good.
found that out like a week ago.
Next one. This is important because your salary is going to come this way. What's the currency of Norway?
Knock.
Knock.
Yeah,
Is that-
NOK.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, knock.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, no, I think that's how it's spelled. I didn't
I
know.
only knew the NK.
NK, yeah.
Well,
All right,
it's-
so you'll switch. It's,
Well, it says NOK from what I've seen.
Okay,
But it could
alright.
be.
okay.
Okay, yeah.
In 2021,
Mm.
they released the happiest countries in the world list. Australia and Norway both featured.
Yeah.
Who was higher?
Norway.
You think Norway?
I
You
feel
look
like
at that
I
in-
know these Scandinavian countries have a great like quality of
Quality of
life.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unbelievable over
Yeah.
there. But I'm gonna back the Aussies and say Australia was
Yeah.
higher.
Kat, you get the point there. Norway,
Oh.
6th happiest country in the world. Australia, 11th.
yeah. Look, I don't think there's much in it. Probably just a
Yeah.
bit of sunshine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
But-
mean, clearly the sun doesn't matter over there.
But
So
because they're so set up, like in terms of like welfare and medical.
it's a good
Like
place to live.
like you
they
said, the
reckon.
quality of life's just really, really good.
Yeah. Well, that's where my next one comes because they actually say that. Did you know that in Norway? There's a public record
Oh.
of everyone in Norway and how much they earn? You know that?
As
So
in, you can look it
it's
up.
public domain. So if anyone wants to find out how much Paddy Yazbek's contract is at Viking, you guys can just Google it. Apparently,
I don't even know, honestly. If you look at the currency, I couldn't even tell you. So if someone finds out, please let me know.
I hope they're looking
Wow.
after you. Kat, this one's for you. Who's top of the Norwegian league as it stands?
Oh yeah, no clue. Hey, Viking.
Season hasn't started yet,
It
Kat.
hasn't started.
You got to be listening. We were just saying.
You just say that
preseason's
you're in
Marbella.
preseason training.
See, she
Yeah.
doesn't listen. We're
Nah,
working,
that's
bad.
alright.
we're working on Kat's
My bad.
listening skills here.
Sorry.
How many Norwegian titles have Viking won?
Testing me here. Oh, I don't. Look, from what I know, Viking are a club that has a sort of a mentality that they like to buy and sell players, and they're more focused on production,
Right.
well, as well as focused on the league. But
Right.
you know, so I wouldn't say it would be many because there are clubs like Rosenborg who have sort of
Rosenborg are
just
massive, right?
dominated
Yeah, where
the
Gers
league.
was for a few years as well.
Oh.
Gers, yeah.
Is it in like the single digits?
Take a wild stab. It's in the single digits.
Yeah, 3.
It's actually 8.
Oh,
but
okay,
they
that's
haven't
right.
won one since
Yeah,
1991.
there you go.
Oh,
yeah.
hopefully that'll change
So
this
we
year.
love-
Hopefully 3 Aussies there now.
3
so-
Aussies there.
Yeah.
That's the
Sky's
best
the
way to
limit.
win it. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the best way to win a title. On that fact, right, we've seen 3 Aussies go there. I'm sure a lot of our listeners of the pod, we get a lot of, they love when we talk about Aussies that are playing overseas. And I guess why? Johnny Stensness, Daggers is there. You're there now. Firstly, why would an Aussie player want to move over there? Is it because we know the A-League is improved out of sight, right? We know the standard's great.
Yeah.
But moving to that, is that your gateway into Europe? Is that with the thoughts on playing national team football? Like, what is the
Yeah.
biggest difference, do you think?
So these are the things like as a player you need to discuss with your agent or
Yeah.
your team,
Yeah.
whoever's guiding you in a sense where you want to take your career. And I
Mm.
feel like for me as a player, obviously every player has their own pathway.
Yeah.
And the A-League's great, like you said. The quality's improved, the standards of players is great. I've spoken to Robbie Mack, Joe Lolly, and even they agree. They said they're actually pretty surprised by the standard here.
Yeah.
It's better than what they expected.
100%.
But I feel like there are a few things missing in the A-League at the moment. I think one is the amount of games we play in a year.
Yeah.
It's only like 20 something,
Yeah.
which isn't enough. Like you want to be exposed to as many games as possible.
Yeah.
And over there in Norway, I'm playing close to 50 games a season.
Because cups and everything.
Cups and all these games. There's about 40 something games in the season alone.
Yeah,
or maybe
brilliant.
close to the 40s.
Wow.
So that's one thing. And then sorry, Kat. But
No,
then,
I was just gonna say it's good. It just means more game time.
yeah,
for you
exactly. And then also, it's it's a lot closer to the action.
Yeah.
You know, it's very hard for scouts to look at the A-League and trust it until they come here and see things.
Yeah.
So in a country like Norway, which at the moment in the last, you know, decade, I'd say has a lot of players getting sold, a lot of revenue coming into the league and players getting sold to, you know, top 5, top 10 leagues in Europe. It's just the eyes there is just huge. So and also, you know, it's a young league and they want to develop players. So you know, that's my sort of perspective on it.
Do you reckon players like Haaland and Odegaard they actually lift the profile of the league as well?
100%.
Yeah, they would, right? That's brilliant.
Like you can argue that Haaland and Odegaard weren't 100% in terms of their development in Norway.
Yeah.
But
that's where it started.
But that's where it started.
Yeah, exactly right. So. That's epic, man. That's brilliant. We had a few questions in here for you as well. More talking about a bit about the change room in Sydney FC. But before we talk about that, we got to also mention you spoke about how good the A-League's become, how much it's improved. We saw that when Celtic even came to town, and we saw how they went against Sydney FC. It was a great game, I must say as well. I was down at that game. It was fantastic to watch. A man who scored that day scored again on the weekend, Maxi Burgess. Fantastic left foot. Yeah. That was a big win. I know you got 1 week left in Sydney. Did that make that derby extra special for you?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I had a chat with Burjo after the game, and he said, "Yes, that's one for the locker. Like, you know, one for the memories. You know, like last derby for now maybe. Yeah. And you know, to get a win at their home ground, it's just huge. You just live for those games.
Yeah. I saw you on the mic.
Yeah. I hopped on the mic. Actually, you know what? Burjo was supposed to do it, and he goes, "Oh, give it to Yaz, give it to Yaz." And I was like, you know what? Because last time we beat them at Jubilee, I did it with Adam Pavlicic because it was his A-League debut. Right. But he was holding the mic. Yeah. And I was like, you know what, I'll just do it. Yeah. Why not? Yeah, it was really fun. Really good one.
It's special, isn't it, those moments? I think it's a derby where you tend to see the fans really bring that passion. And it was such a good example of that. And it was great to see you doing that because I was so aware that, like, that journey for you is coming to an end with Sydney FC, at least for now. And it's such a nice way of heading overseas, feeling so positive, I guess, about that experience as well.
Yeah, like, I feel like I've lived through the peak of the A-League, you know. That was my childhood, the 2012 to 2015 sort of era. Shinji Ono Wanderers, Del Piero, Sydney FC, you know, I'd been to all those derbies. So to be involved in that and for it to feel very similar to what it once was and it's getting, you know, back on track, it's just, it's unbelievable, So
it's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's a good send-off as well, I think.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Kat, question for you. We saw our old mates Rudin and Koriko going out on the sideline. What do you think of that? It's your former teammates, like...
Yeah, it's a bit of a biff, isn't it?
Is that a bit much, or...
No, that's just...
You love to see it?
It's the tension of the derby.
Yeah, it's good. You reckon they're chatting still next week, or is that just like, that's friendship gone?
No. That's not friendship gone. That's like you've done. I'm sure you've done this with your mates when you're playing football or there's any kind of competitive environment. You kind of go at it, but you're still mates. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's that serious. Right. Yeah.
But we wanted to talk a bit about, because you're in this purple patch of your career. We wanted to talk about, because we're copping a lot of stick. We've been laughing about it on the show. Yeah. Just the old mean tweets. We've been doing a bit of mean tweets. Me, Kat, Olan's got plenty as well. Just those idiots that live on Twitter. Yeah. No one knows what they do. They live in a hole somewhere and they just love tweeting shit about. And it always gets me thinking about you guys as footballers, because you're in the spotlight all the time, especially after a derby. Like, we saw the amount of shit talk. Even Brandon Barella on the pitch was talking a bit of shit about you boys. I know, right? Like, I mean, you just lost 1-0. It's a bit rich. Yeah. How much do you read into that stuff? Do you guys as players, do you jump on Twitter and read what people are saying?
Yeah, like, I don't know. I think one thing is I think it's a generational thing. Right. Like, I can't see Wilkes going online and having a look at mean tweets. You know, he's past that. Yeah. But I feel like especially now, you know, I've grown up with my phone. Yeah. All the other young players have. So, you know, you can't avoid it. But, you know, if I have a good game, sometimes I'll just go have a look.
Just give the ego a bit of a boost.
People are saying it.
Why not?
Because, like, you know, you see a good tweet about yourself. I don't know. It comes down to the individual as well. Like, you see a good tweet about yourself, you think, you know what? This is good. Like, this is what I want to strive. This is what I see. And then, you know, it just builds confidence. Yeah. Well, one thing that builds confidence, obviously, a good performance is the main thing. Exactly. But just these little things that
you like hearing the support.
You like hearing the support. And then, you know, you see that and you build on it. And then once you're confident, like, there's no going back. You know, it's just...
Pat, I'm on Dub Zone, the A-League Women's show, and we created the Big Blue Best 11, and it didn't have many Sydney FC players on it. I didn't create it, but it was for the women's team.
Is this from this season?
Yeah, this was a few weeks ago. Okay, They'd created this Best 11 squad, and then Ante Juric had seen it, and he was just pissed off that so many of his girls didn't make the squad list.
Princess was left out? Was that
Princess
the big one?
was left out.
Right.
And he brought it up in the change rooms before the game and said, girls, you know, like let's show them. We're hearing about these best 11. You're not on it. Whatever. Like, let's make something out of it. Abini goes and scores a hat trick that day,
sick.
and then they were creating versions of the best 11 that was just Princess Abini all over. But do you sometimes take that negativity and you can be motivated by it as well?
Yeah, like any form of negativity is obviously not good.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can't afford to just sit there and dwell on it and just be like a little girl about it. You just got to like take it and just I like to use it as motivation and just honestly just prove everyone wrong. But yeah, like what Auntie Richard I think is a great thing. You know, using that to motivate the girls who, you know, are a very good squad, and you know, I think even without that, capable of beating any team in the league. But you know, you find whatever you can get. Yeah,
like you said, you take that negative, turn it into something. It's an opportunity to prove someone
100%
wrong.
Well, if you're going to be a pro athlete, you got to be able to deal with it. When I had to sit down with Graham Arnold going into the final World Cup qualifiers, I had an interview with him. We spoke about a lot of things. Then off camera, we kept talking. And he spoke a little bit in the interview, but mainly afterwards, he spoke to me about social media and how he hates it. Like Arnie's anti. Did you play under Arnie when he was taking Ollie Roos? No. He would have been just before. Yeah. He was talking about how much he hates it. And he spoke to me about multiple players. One player is very much a Socceroos player that's no longer in the Socceroos. I'm not going to name who it was. But he said social media was that player's downfall. And he's like, because I'd get into the dressing room and he's already on it looking at stuff. And I'm like, you know, he tried to get all these players off it. So I think there's a fine line. But again, like you're saying, Paddy, you've come through a generation where you're used to it. I think you've grown with it. The phone's in your hand. So it was probably that middle gen, which, because this player was a little bit older, it's probably that middle gen which copped it the worst. But we did throw out a few questions. We wanted our fans are good. They're great people. We wanted them to ask you a couple questions, and a few came through. Henry Bear asked you, who's the most annoying in the change room? Who's just that annoying? I mean, I'm sure you love all your teammates.
There's no annoying person in the change room. Everyone's good. I feel like if you have an annoying person in the change room, it's not a good change room.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. You know? So everyone gets along
very well. I honestly, to that Sydney FC change room, can't say anything.
Brilliant change room. That's good. How about I'll change the question. If you got to hit the town tonight, you can only take 2 other Sydney FC boys with you.
2 boys
that are going to just run amok and have a great time. Who are the 2 you're taking?
2's not enough, honestly.
Because you know what? I chat a lot. I'm mates with Joe Lolly.
Yeah,
and he hypes up that he's a great time on a night out.
Joe is a good time on a night out. I think Joe's up there.
Okay.
I'm going to name 3.
Okay.
Joe?
Yeah.
James Donachie.
I've heard stories about
He's very good. Very good value on a night out.
Right.
And maybe Woody.
Woody?
Yeah, Woody.
Yeah? Woody pre the blonde hair? I don't know about the blonde hair.
Any Woody. Blonde hair, mullet, bold Woody. You can get any Woody. He's good.
Yeah, he's good value. Yeah. Brilliant. You also see Ryan Grant down at Public Bar. I don't know if Public Bar's still a thing in Bondi. I used to always bump into Ryan Grant down there.
He loves the Bondi.
He's a vibe. He's a vibe.
Great guy.
Mark Banny's asked you, good proportion of artificial pitches in Norway. Yeah. Will that change anything for you? Are you looking forward to that?
Oh.
That's a bit different. I personally hate
that's a great question.
Yeah, what do you prefer?
Question. Synthetic is disgusting to play on.
Yeah.
If you're not used to it.
Yeah.
Obviously playing on grass for the last 2 seasons, it is going to be like a change for me. But
in the youth team, you were playing on synthetic?
Yeah, I played on synthetic in my career, and you know, I'm young. My body's pretty healthy, so I think I'll be able to cope. I don't think some of the older boys would be able to do it. It's very, very taxing on your body. People don't understand how firm it is. Yeah.
Even like
in the heat as well.
You know what people don't understand? And I always have this conversation with people. It's like, yes, it's flat. I know that the synthetic is flat, but it does not compare to a flat grass pitch. It doesn't. The ball does not move the same.
Good.
It looks like
it doesn't
flat,
feel good.
But that natural bounce every time you pass the ball.
Funny, this question actually came up yesterday before the derby.
Right.
I don't know, yesterday, the day before the derby. Because we meet at Macquarie for like all the boys. Then we do video and bus. Anyways, I was sitting outside on the balcony with Robert Mack, Max Burgess, and Adrian Segacic, one of the younger boys. And we're just talking about like me going over and something. And we're talking about synthetic. And then Robbie Mack comes in and he goes, I could never play on synthetic, man. My body would, I just die with his Slovakian accent.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, Robbie, you ever played synthetic before? He goes, oh yeah, we played synthetic like 2 years ago in the Champions League against Young Boys or something.
Right.
He goes, it's the best synthetic pitch I've ever played in my life.
Right.
He said, but yeah, it was so quick.
Yeah.
He reckons the ball just flies around on those synthetic pitches.
It's a different experience. We see it a bit in the Scottish leagues as well. So you're in for a challenge there, but as you said, you've done it before. This is a question in from producer Shabs, apparently. He's thrown his own questions into the pod. What number are you taking at Viking? Do you know yet?
Yeah, 14.
14.
Yeah.
Right. Did you ask for that?
Oh, they gave me a couple of options. I chose 14.
Is that Thierry Henry?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, right. No,
would that be
I like the number 14. I've had it when I was younger.
Would that be the number that you would choose if you could pick any number?
No.
What would be the number?
If you're the superstar and you're walking in and you're like, you're Ronaldo levels, which is like just changing people's
Probably
numbers.
32.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my first ever number.
Okay.
Yeah, they made me change it. Sydney made me change it this year.
They made you
Yeah,
change
it's
it.
like logistical reasons.
They're going to pay more to
32's
get custom numbers. Eh?
Nah,
Yeah,
nah,
right,
nah.
budget cuts down in Sydney. Yeah.
It's like logistical reasons. 32 is a pretty high number, and I
Yeah.
was obviously playing regularly, so they
Yeah.
said, if we want you to change your number. I was fine with it.
Yeah.
So you went half.
Yeah, well, 16 was only a couple
Yeah.
options. I didn't want to choose.
It's good maths from
anything.
you, Kat. Showing your quality.
Yeah, some
Yes.
surprises today.
Speaking of maths, you're a uni student as well. You were at UNSW for a little bit.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Reese decided, I'd
Yeah,
rather
nah,
kick a ball.
I think
mate. Who needs
football
books?
was my calling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got me thinking because you at UNSW. I went to UNSW as well. Kat spent a little bit of time at UNSW. Uni games. Yeah, I would have been picking you up.
yeah.
I would have been picking you up for uni. Were you studying while uni games was a thing or not?
Look, I was pretty distant from the whole
Just like
Uni experience.
from the uni
From the uni
experience. Yeah, I was
That's
just
also
go
'cause you
home,
said you
laptop, go to training.
Straight
Yeah.
into COVID as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I went
yeah.
straight into COVID as well, so I missed out on all that.
Right.
We
the social.
can't take that
part
for
of it.
granted because we are a little older than old
Speak
Patty.
for yourself, Kat.
Oi.
Me
Oi.
and Patty are the youngsters here on the couch.
Oh,
Speak for
come
yourself.
You're closer to my age than
I
he
am.
is.
Unfortunately, I am. But speaking of, because you know Corey Brown
Yeah.
spent many years in
Yeah.
the A-League, right? I didn't know Corey Brown had a bit of a reputation, a bit of a party boy. But when we were at uni games, he was in an A-League contract and somehow got an exemption
No way.
to come to uni games. So I think he was either at Melbourne City or at Brisbane Roar. I can't
Right.
remember. He was at one of the two and got an exemption to come up to uni games, and he was just there
I
playing.
don't believe that.
He was
There's
there.
No chance.
Yeah, man. I don't know how that happened, but he was there. And uni games,
Someone just signed it,
anyone that knows about uni games, there's not much sport being played. It's more what you do on a night out. But anyway, good on him. He's managed to swindle someone there. Some other A-League news as well. The Mariners almost couldn't get up to Brisbane for their game due to the storm. They ended up getting up there, getting the win anyway. Melbourne City, massive win. You were talking about your mate, left back from Melbourne City.
Geordie Boss. Yeah.
Geordie Boss got a golazo
What a
as
player.
well. Doesn't love his football, does he?
No, he's not a fan.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But you are a big football fan.
I'm a massive football fan. Yeah.
What about like I look at Sydney FC, players like Ryan Grant. He seems like he's not that fussed about. Or he's a football fan.
Yeah, he's a football fan. Yeah, I
Okay.
wouldn't say he doesn't care.
But you get these mix,
Yeah,
right? People that
yeah.
just see it as like they do their job, they go home, they switch off and do other things, and there's people that are football obsessed.
Yeah.
But what a great goal from it. Doesn't matter if he's not a football fan. If you're scoring goals like that,
It
no
really
one will
doesn't
care.
matter, does it?
No, not at all. Matt Leckie as well with a bicycle kick in that game. Tony Popovich, don't know how Melbourne Victory are still surviving at the moment. But we had a question here from Christian Fabiano.
Is that a cousin of yours?
I don't know. I didn't know we had other Fabianos in Australia. I don't know if he's in Australia, but crazy how we all thought Western Sydney Wanderers were in a title race. We all know how shit they are now. Christian sounds like he's a
Wow,
Sydney
Christian.
FC fan. Christian sounds like he's a Sydney FC fan. Last thing I want to say on the A-League before we move on. Firstly to you, Kat.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that. There was a lot of hostility after the game from Mark Rudin, from Brandon Borello. It came out quite publicly and just said, we were better than them. Doesn't matter that we lost. We outplayed them. Red card. There was a slap on Paolo Retre there. Talking about...
Patty laughing at that.
We were talking about this morning. That's why.
But
It's
there
funny.
was like first question is, if you lose a game of football, should you just shut your mouth and walk off? Like, is there any time when you can say we played better, or if you lost, bro, like the scoreline is all that matters,
It's sport.
right?
You got to believe in your own shit before anyone else does.
Right. So you think credit to
talk
it?
as much smack as you want.
Okay.
I don't really care about that
Right.
stuff. I mean, we were talking about the UFC before.
Yeah.
How much smack do they talk in
It's
that?
true. It's true.
Volks comes off afterwards. He's like, I was robbed. Should have won that.
Yeah.
I think part of it is having the conversation and saying what you want to say. And like, you've got to believe in it. You've
Yeah.
got to believe in your team.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means saying things that might not be true.
Right. What about Paolo? How do you feel about getting slapped? Is it?
It's a red card.
Yeah, it was a straight
Yeah,
red card.
100%.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There was this alternate angle that they said the referee walked off and missed the other angle, but well, I saw a slap from where
It
I
was a
was.
slap.
I
It was
saw
a
a
slap.
slap. I
Did he
see.
feel a slap?
Yeah, that's why
Okay.
he went down.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
He felt a slap.
He would have winded it up as
100%.
well. The drip for sure. Paolo Retro
No,
winded it up.
it
a
was a
little bit.
slap. He knocked him hard and he went down.
Yeah, I
That's
rate it. I rate it, bro. That's part of it. That's part of the game. Congratulations, it's a big win, and that's one derby each as well, which is going to set up a great end to the season.
sure.
I think they're only separated by a point now, or 2 points as well, so it's great.
Yeah.
Let's take a trip to the rest of the world now. We'll go over to, you talk about refereeing decisions. Let's go to the Premier League. First one, Chelsea. The save. You saw this one. Chelsea
Your
against
little boy
West Ham.
next to
I've
you.
got Eden Hazard next to me back before he packed on the kilos. Did you see that handball?
No, I didn't
In
see
the
it.
Chelsea game?
I still haven't watched the highlights from this
There was an
morning.
incredible moment in the game. Conor Gallagher, 89th minute, shoots, and I believe it was Thomas Soucek, goes down to ground and literally saves it with his hand, Kat. I believe the logic here was that he was trying to put his hand down.
Right. So it was unintentional.
It was a shot on
interference.
target. His hand was away from his body. The penalty didn't get given. There's apparently going to be an emergency meeting held between Premier League referees to try and fix up some of the VAR laws, because there was also an offside missed in the Arsenal game,
Right.
Saw that one.
which cost them against Brentford. What's got to change here, Kat? What is it? Is it just they need to be a bit more lenient? They need to actually, like, how do you even change this?
I think go back. We've said this before. If there's any discrepancy,
Yeah.
you've got to like call it for what it is.
Well, this is
Like,
what happened, right?
You can't
You can't black
disagree
and
on
white football.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, but you should then go for the kind of like go for the handball card, go for the offside. Like
Right.
take the thing that's going to make less of an impact on the game.
Right. So don't ruin a game of football.
Don't ruin it.
Interesting. So you could, in that judging by
I
that
get
logic, you would agree
frustrated.
with the referee that didn't ruin a game of football by taking away a goal or something like that.
This is where it gets
See, this
so
is where it gets.
complicated.
Before, a
Claudes.
referee could make a decision on the ground. Now that it's so
Yeah.
black and white, you got VAR in Norway?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
I don't think so,
I don't
right?
think so.
Because
You need a lot of money to fund VAR. I
'Cause-
know in our league,
Yeah.
it's almost like 6 figures per game for a VAR.
Per game?
Yeah.
Fuck that, man. Put that money somewhere that it should go.
Jeez.
I hate
and they
it.
still do such a shit
Yeah.
job.
I
That's
know.
why in like FFA Cup,
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
have VAR.
Don't have VAR. Do you feel as a player when you're playing,
Oh,
especially
wow.
coming from youth, which you didn't have VAR, or you're playing
Yeah.
in the cup, you got to adjust your game when you're playing with VAR? Like, were you ever the player that when the ref's not looking, I'll give you a jab in the kidney? Were you ever that player?
Nah, I'm not that dirty.
No?
Nah. But
Not the jab
yeah,
in the
like
kidney.
you
I'm
gotta.
speaking from experience.
I feel like you can have a bit more hope in decisions, because sometimes you think, oh, we're just gonna get stitched up all day here.
Right.
Yeah.
But with VAR, you can think, okay, there's room to sort of have a bit
Yeah.
of hope and think if they've made a bad call.
You ever tell the ref to check it?
Yeah,
Like,
100%. We say,
yeah?
check, we look at the screen, bro. Look, it's a red card or whatever. And they go,
we're
nah, I'm
watching
not
it.
looking at it, mate. Keep playing. Go away.
Yeah.
Yeah. But nah, there's a bit of both. Sometimes you think we could get stitched up
Yeah.
real bad.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can think we can get, like the goal against for Wanderers.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
handball, offside first.
Right.
Handball,
Yeah.
definitely not a goal. And VAR helped us.
Helped you out.
I don't know. I don't think
Yeah.
I have an answer for you,
It's
Claude.
tough. Well, it's not going anywhere. Let me
No.
tell you that.
My
VAR won't go
brain's
anywhere.
trying to
Nah,
figure
it's
it
not.
out, and I can't.
Yeah, I just think it's the refs that have to, I guess, use it better. But it's definitely here to stay. We've got to
Yeah.
get used to it. Sticking in the Premier League, Man City. Now,
Yeah.
they've closed the gap a little bit on Arsenal after their win at the Monday morning. But there's all this talk now a little bit about the financials. Now, they've got one of the best lawyers in the world. £5,000 an hour the guy earns. Right?
An hour.
£5,000 an hour. If they pay this guy all week, he earns the same as Kevin De Bruyne. right. He earns £80,000 a day.
That's a bit of perspective for you.
Yeah, if he works all day,
The
all
question
week.
is, which one's being overpaid?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. I'd probably try to take the lawyer at this point. They need it. But it's made a lot of people say, look, what is the difference between this and a European Super League? So the European Super League's back now. Florentino Perez has been talking about it. Firstly, you're an Arsenal fan.
Yep.
Do you believe, I mean, I don't know if you want to stay impartial here, but do you believe City deserve to, A, lose titles, or B, get some sort of punishment for this?
I think with the City, firstly, like innocent until proven guilty. You can't really, sanction them at all until there's a verdict and a decision made.
Yeah.
But I think, obviously, bit of bias, being an Arsenal supporter.
Yeah.
A good outcome would be similar to what happened to Juventus
Yeah.
in the Serie A.
Wow, just massive
Yeah.
point deduction
Couple
and down
point
to
deduction,
championship.
Down to,
Will it feel like less of a win for Arsenal if that happens?
a win's a win?
A win's a win, bro. Exactly.
And look, the reality is...
I love that.
the
He's just
reality
like,
is
no
if
hesitation.
we win, the rest of our games, we win the league.
Exactly. You are in front. It's not like you were second and then City lost the title.
Yeah, because, well, the way you can look at it, to be fair, if hypothetically, City get dropped to mid-table, win the rest of their games, come back to like fourth.
Yeah.
And then Arsenal stay at the top, lose like 2 games here. You could
It's still
City fans could be like, oh,
We would have
won it.
Yeah. Just get him out of the league.
Yeah.
Just get him out of the league.
That's my opinion.
Well, it's going to be a great game because Arsenal are playing City on Thursday morning. That's going to be tasty.
And didn't Haaland have a little injury of sorts?
He got hooked
Do we
at
know
half
what's
time.
happening
He got
there?
hooked at half time. I haven't heard any news as to what
Okay.
happened, but he's been a bit off the last couple of weeks,
Yeah.
Haaland. It's funny, when you score that many goals, it's like the moment you don't score, everyone thinks you're off. But we'll watch this space anyway. I'll tell you what, no one will cook more than Jurgen Klopp.
Oh,
Because you guys, you got 99 points in a season and didn't win it against the City that apparently were cheating. Does that hurt you a
Yeah.
little bit?
I,
Gerrard
in general,
slip.
am really just not enjoying my football at the moment.
Yeah, I know.
just-
Most of your teams are just doing
yeah.
shit. At least Sydney FC's giving you
No,
something to
no,
smile
no.
about.
That's why I'm so much more focused on Australian football right now.
Yeah, they're
Thank
giving
you,
you something.
Pat.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
3
Doing my
straight
best, doing
wins.
my best.
Exactly
Three
right.
on the trot.
Back up in a good spot. Bayern Munich goalkeeper, but speaking about big fines, Manuel Neuer set to
What
be given a
happened?
1.4 million
For the skiing?
Well, the skiing was bad.
Oh, is this because he went off skiing?
He went
and
off skiing,
didn't
broke
ask
his
for
leg.
permission.
Right.
Yeah.
Which sucks. They had to then go sign Jan Sommer. Now, in the meantime, they've sacked the goalkeeper coach at Bayern Munich, and he's come out and done an interview about it, slamming the club and talking shit. Very similar to what Cristiano Ronaldo did on Manchester United. They haven't kicked
So
him
is he
out.
about to move to Saudi?
Well, they haven't kicked him out yet, but they've fined him £1.4 million. How much, as a footballer, like, we're just chilling on a podcast, but when you're doing interviews and stuff, does it cross your mind, like, do you have to like think every word you say? Are they on top of you? Like, a Sydney FC on top of you? Do they watch all your media stuff and make sure you're not saying anything you shouldn't say?
I'll give you an example, actually.
Yeah.
So last year in the ACL,
Yeah.
I was very happy with on a personal level with the ACL. I went there, did very well,
Yeah.
played well. The results
Yeah.
weren't the greatest.
Yeah.
And then because we were in like a COVID bubble.
Yeah.
And then our flights got delayed for some reasons. We had like 2 extra nights before
Okay.
we could leave after the last game.
Right.
So a couple of the boys went out just to,
Mate.
we're no longer in COVID protocol. We
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
go out.
Sick.
Whatever happens.
Yeah. Where were you?
Vietnam.
Oh, he's a
Ho
decent
Chi-
nightlife
Ho
in
Chi
Vietnam?
Minh City.
Ho Chi Minh.
I'd say it's a bit
it
fun.
would
in
pump
Ho Chi
in
Minh
Ho Chi
City.
Minh, eh?
Yeah.
Decent. I'll do the same.
Um,
All right. How was it?
Nightlife was unbelievable.
Yeah, cool.
Like there was this strip of like just like clubs and restaurants and
I thought you were
bars.
going to say strip club.
No. It was just like a 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer strip.
Yeah, okay.
It was like the main street.
Yeah.
And then I'm there and I take a video of Woody.
Yeah.
And I just like the street. I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Vietnam. Wow.
Right.
And then I get a message from our Dave Warren, our guy. He goes,
Yeah. Media
yeah, as
manager.
you might want to take this down, mate. We've just lost 4 out of the 6 games.
Yeah.
Haven't even won.
Yeah.
Fans might see this and be a bit.
Cranky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? He's got a point. I just took it down.
Okay.
But yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
you got to be careful what you say.
Well, you gotta have
you know?
close friends on Instagram. Just get yourself a little close friends and
I've got
just
that, yeah.
exactly right. You gotta
Yeah.
sort that
Love
out.
the
I-
close friends.
Even though you do, Kat, you put some wild shit on there.
Oh,
Just quite-
don't be putting
no,
me
you
on
put
that.
some wild shit on there. I'm fortunate enough to be in Kat's close friends, but you got you gotta be careful. Let's go to one of the most amazing love stories in football.
Okay.
We know about Shakira Piqué. They were taking too much
Yeah,
limelight.
that's not an amazing love story
Well,
anymore.
they were
is it?
taking too much limelight, so now we have to go back to the Icardis
Right.
because we haven't spoken about the Icardis in quite some time.
This
What's
was the
going on
Icardi
there?
show for a
I
while.
know
This was the
Icardi
Icardi show at one
story.
point. Mauro Icardi's actually in fantastic form.
Mm.
Actually, it's a good opportunity to take. I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm wearing a Fenerbahce jersey for anyone that's not watching the pod. Icardi, of course, playing for Galatasaray. Big thoughts from everyone here on the pod. And I know OLANTEKKERS
Yeah.
is stressing. He wanted us to all say this as well. This is from all of us. Our thoughts are out to not only everyone in Turkey and Syria, but anyone who has family in those places. We've got a lot of friends as well. Syrian background, Turkish background. Our thoughts are with them. It's an absolute natural catastrophe of what's happening over there. And everyone, I guess, the whole football community, the whole world stands with them. Talking about Mauro Icardi, though. He's been playing some fantastic football before this break that's happening now in the Turkish league, scoring 9 goals in 12 games. Wonder, they've broken up again.
Oh.
After remember she was in a
Yeah,
music
yeah.
video hooking up with the guy. That was the last straw, apparently. The bad thing about this, right? She's his agent. I don't know if you knew this.
Wanda's
Mauro's agent.
Oh, that's a bit red hot.
So this is also advice for you, 20-year-old player.
Yeah.
Don't ever make your partner your agent. It's just conflict of interest,
Yeah.
right?
It's good to realize that now.
Yeah,
At this
yeah,
point.
yeah. You know?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and I guess don't take your teammate's wife either, which is what he did before that. But
Yeah,
she's now going back to Argentina. She was on The Masked Singer.
Oh my gosh.
Now she's a judge on MasterChef.
What does she know about cooking?
I don't know what she knows about. I mean, I don't want to judge a
but you
book
know
by its
how
cover,
you
but she doesn't
see
strike me
these,
as the
like,
most domestic.
These media people that are just everywhere.
Yeah.
She's doing that.
She gets a gig
Oh.
every time, and I don't know if she's still looking after Mauro's
Loves the
career.
It's like when they
Limelight.
put like Kyle Sanderlands on like
Everything.
X Factor or something. I don't know what he was on, but what does he know about singing?
Exactly.
Nothing.
You know, it's like
Yeah, he's on Australian
Yeah,
Idol.
Australian Idol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he has a radio show.
What does
Yeah.
he know about singing?
hey, I might get a
He
gig.
just listens to music. That's his qualification.
Probably doesn't even listen to it.
I might get a gig at this point. What do you reckon? I should throw my
No,
hat in there.
you're in the running, Claudes.
There aren't many people in Australian media. I may as well throw my hat in the ring. Latest rumour as well coming out: Ange Postecoglou to Liverpool. This is a rumour that surfaced during the week. I
Yeah,
guess
but
in
who
some Scottish papers over there, because Liverpool are currently 10th in the Premier League. We know about Klopp's 7-season
Yeah, I
curse.
know.
If he walks, who would Liverpool replace him with? Postecoglou's in the 10-man shortlist, right? Is what people are saying. Now,
I ain't mad at that.
how big for Ange Postecoglou? Where is the next move? Would you say for him?
I'd definitely say the Prem.
It's got to be the Prem.
Yeah, but I wouldn't go and say Liverpool. It's massive.
Big task.
Second biggest club in England, I think.
Right.
Second to Man U.
Right.
Massive. And obviously, like, look at Brendan Rodgers, perfect example. Went from, where was he, Rangers?
Yeah, he was at Celtic before
Celtic,
him.
yeah,
he was at Celtic. Yeah, went to the Prem.
And then he went to Leicester.
Yeah, exactly. So
I
you think
can't,
that's more of a logical
yeah, that's
move?
more of a logical move.
I agree.
Okay.
But we are also a mid-table club right now.
Right. Yeah, you are.
No,
and I hate
but
saying
it's
that.
a big club.
It's a big six club.
It's the big.
Would you say the same thing about any of the other big six getting Ange? I wouldn't say any of them would get Ange.
I feel like it wouldn't make sense.
I don't think so.
Not to say that he wouldn't do a good job. He'd do a fantastic job wherever he goes.
Yeah.
But I feel like just a
You've
club
got
that size,
almost,
with a fan base like that,
Yeah.
they're going to expect a big name.
Yeah.
I also think it's what we want to see from Ange in his career.
Mm.
Doing such a good job at Celtics. You don't want to see him. I said Celtics like it's Boston Celtics.
Celtics.
Celtic.
Yeah.
You don't want to see him come in and have a bit of a Lampard situation where you weren't qualified enough for a club of that level.
Yeah.
That would be sad.
Well, the interesting little side story is that his assistant coach at Celtic is Harry Kewell. So
Yeah.
if he was to move with Harry, it'd be a former Liverpool player coming back, technically, right?
That's
in the assistant
nice.
coaching role. So there is a nice story there.
Yeah.
We do have an Aussie in the Premier League. Harry Suter got another win on the weekend. Great to see Aussies actually playing in the Premier League again.
Yeah,
It had been a
100%.
while. For you as a young player, if you look at like ultimate goal, if I say to you, you're
Yeah.
20 years old, and I know you got your head screwed on, you're very humble, and I can say that from just chatting to you, but you're going over to Norway now. Looking at the future though, if I said to you, what is the dream goal? When you go to sleep at night, where do you see yourself, let's say 5 years? 25-year-old Yazbek, what are you doing?
Yeah. What's on your Pinterest board?
No Pinterest board. Yeah, like, obviously, this is a hard question, I think, because football's a very sort of in the moment sort of career. You can't really go there and predict what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, if 6 months ago even, if you told me what I'd be doing now,
you wouldn't have thought.
I wouldn't have thought anything.
Yeah.
And it's been like that since I've come into the professional scene.
Yeah.
But speaking of a Pinterest board,
Yeah.
I'd like to go to the Olympics in the next 2 years.
That'd be
I
cool.
think that'll be a good experience in Paris.
Yeah.
Obviously do well with Viking.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a massive thing that's going to propel all of these future ambitions. And hopefully the World Cup I think it's the US.
That's the dream, right?
Yeah, that's the dream.
World Cup
Yeah.
football.
And then
That
just
would be
see
awesome.
where my club football can take me to the highest level possible.
Yeah. But that, like, the ultimate goal, I like that because I've always thought that as well. Like, when you're a young player growing up, like, you want to play for the best club possible, but the ultimate goal is your country, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that
100%.
has to
This
be it.
country, like, Australia's given me everything.
Yeah.
And when I played for the first time for Australia, it was Asian Cup qualifier with the Olyroos.
Right.
And, like, I'm not an emotional person at all. I'm very, like, calm, chill, black and white.
Yeah.
And then when the national anthem came on,
You felt
like,
it?
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
This
that's
is awesome.
amazing.
Like, I want to experience this all the time. I just want
Yeah.
to play for Australia all the time.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
one
man.
thing that's sort of...
My question too is, so your parents are Lebanese, right?
Yeah.
So I'm half Lebanese. I know that in terms of a national team, we've never really had a whole lot to look up to.
Had
in that
nothing.
game.
Had nothing.
They're getting better.
But
They're
maybe,
in the final
you know,
10 in Asia this time.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
actually not that
With
getting
more
better, yeah.
spots for Asian teams, maybe one day we'll see
Maybe.
Lebanon in the World Cup.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just talk. I'm just interested with growing up with Lebanese parents and how football kind of came into that. Because personally, I feel like football never really played a very big impact in my upbringing because it was just not a sport that they would talk about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm on that side with my mum's family.
Yeah.
I think my mum's family aren't really in touch with football as much, but my dad, he's obsessed with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. I went to Lebanon in 2010. I've been there a couple of times. Went in there to 2010 during the World Cup. The one in South Africa, and the culture there was just unbelievable.
They just pick a side?
Yeah, because realistically, I don't think Lebanon have ever been in a
No.
World Cup
They've
at
never,
all.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
the community is just so used to just picking a team
Yeah.
and just picking a country and going for it. So
Yeah.
my sort of passed down country is Germany. My dad supported
Okay,
Germany.
Right.
His dad,
Interesting.
yeah. So like when the World Cup's on, obviously with Australia, and if Australia don't do whatever,
Germany's the team.
Germany's a team for me. And then
Wow.
I have my cousins who like Brazil.
Right.
And then, you walk the streets and there's people like these random lebos just walking the streets
Yeah.
with Spain, full of Spain jerseys.
But
and
they're like,
full-
they're Spain for life.
But like Spain
It's
for
not like
life.
they change
Yeah, they're
every World
Spain for
Cup.
life. The family, it follows
Wow.
through. Yeah,
That's cool,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
I like that.
I'm
That's
more
awesome.
Lebanese than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're Spain, right?
Yeah, I've always picked Spain.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
actually
How funny.
it's Spain and Brazil, I'd say, the two biggest
Well, I know
ones.
there's a huge Lebanese community in Brazil as well.
There is. There's more Lebanese people, like generational Lebanese people in Brazil than there is in Lebanon.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got more relatives like that have lived in Brazil or like buried in Brazil, which I know sounds really morbid, but like just generations than in Lebanon.
You know, because there was a massive civil war in Lebanon during like, you know, I think it was the early 1990s.
Right.
And maybe
a bit
1980s. Yeah, something like that. Anyways, so a lot of them fled. Like my dad was one who fled, and my mum fled when she was a lot younger. No, my dad went to the US.
Oh, he went to the US.
Yeah, he lived there for like 10 years.
Right.
And he ended up here. So.
Yeah, awesome.
But yeah, a lot of them fled. And Brazil, you know, geographically, it's a very similar kind of country, Lebanon.
Okay.
Quick incline. Yeah. Coastal.
Yeah.
Mountains.
Makes sense.
Not too expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
So. And that's how, speaking of Shakira, well, she's Colombian Lebanese. Yeah. So her family would have done that. Would have gone to Colombia.
Most likely, probably something to do
I've got family, like very distant family in Argentina.
Yeah, brilliant.
Somehow, I don't know how, they're just there.
Good.
Yeah, same. Venezuela, Argentina, like you've got family kind of everywhere.
When's the last time you've been in Lebanon?
I actually have not been there.
You've not been?
My dad was born there and he's not even been back.
You got to hit I've heard Beirut.
I know, I need to go.
I've heard Beirut, some of the best nightlife in the world.
So I've heard the same.
You haven't been over 18 to Lebanon, have
Yeah,
you? You have?
Yeah. It's kind of died down a bit. It's a massive financial crisis going on.
Well, that's the thing is I had actually booked a trip to go last year and then things just weren't in a great state. So I opted not to go, but it's on the list.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of...
I like that this turned into a bit of
it's in a Lebanon chat. Why not? Hopefully they do make a World Cup. As you said, 8 countries from Asia are going to make the next World Cup, which is the most ever. Lebanon were in the final 10 qualifying for 2022, so they're in with a chance now. It would be absolute scenes here in Australia if Lebanon do make it.
It'd be amazing.
Let's talk a little bit about Canada at the moment. Did you see? Because the next World Cup is there. Big problems in the women's game.
Yeah, I was wondering if we were going to talk about.
Well, let's chat about it. The big problems in the women's game. For those of you who don't know now, the Canadian men's coach, who's done a fantastic job, was the previous women's coach. So this makes this story even more bizarre. Yeah. So apparently the funding that they've had to spend, the amount of money they've had to spend on hosting the World Cup in 26, they had to take some budget cuts out of the women in preparation for this year's World Cup. This is there's
a lot of financial turmoil and a lot of lack of transparency, I think, because I read something like the football club, like the soccer team, the national soccer team has made 33.1 million in rev, but their expenses were like 28 million.
Okay.
So of what was left, the Canada Soccer is run by Canada Soccer Business.
Okay.
Which is like an external organization that looks after them. It's not from within.
Sounds dodgy.
It's like this thing that they signed a couple of years ago to say, you know, we'll help kind of establish the squads, which we know Canada was doing a really good job for a while of being kind of ahead of the game.
Yeah, gold medal winners in the women's.
Yeah. But without the players making a whole lot of money out of that.
Right.
And the issue is, I think, and I'm no expert on this, I've tried to understand it, but I'm pretty sure the issue is that in all of their contractual stuff, they never decided what they would do with World Cup winnings and that kind of money.
Okay, so they don't have like our agreement in Australia or the US agreement. They're just like free for all over there.
So Canada Soccer Business, this company that kind of manages the finances, are the ones benefiting from that because that's a bit of a loophole.
Shit.
I might be a little wrong on specifics, but the takeout is that the players aren't making much money off being a part of the national football team. Right. That's male and female, but the biggest issue is the women's team right now.
Preparing for the World Cup.
Right, and them kind of boycotting. But then...
And they're in our group.
Yeah, they're in our group. And and the football team, Christine Sinclair is the captain. She came out and said...
She played about 1,000 games.
Yeah. We wanted to kind of boycott, but they're going to take legal action.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that. We don't want to, sacrifice the game. It's there for the fans. So they're going to play.
Sounds messy.
But anyway.
Sounds very messy. Probably good for Australia. I don't want to be that guy, but probably good for the Matildas that they're in turmoil.
It's just one of those frustrations, just from a women's football perspective, is for every country that's taking a step forward, we see steps backwards as well.
Well, I mean, the World Cup will be massive. Hopefully, a massive step forward for the entire world of women's football. Last one I wanted to get in here. I know, Paddy, you're an athlete, and this is I can back Paddy here because we were having a few drinks going into the show, and Paddy's like, "I'm just going to stick to water," and I'm like, "That's why you're an athlete." Me and Kat are both failed footballers because we're drinking here on the pod. But how about this one from Venezia? A player from Venezia, right? Yol Ponpalo. Ponpalo's his name. He came off at half time. He was subbed at half time, 2 assists in the first half. In the second half, he was seen sinking a couple beers on the sideline with the fans.
Was he?
This is Serie B football in Italy. It's nothing to sneeze at.
B for beer?
There you go. We've also heard stories about Diego Costa. Diego Costa used to finish a game for Chelsea. Every win, he'd have a beer in the change room. Any of the boys you've played with that just have this culture, you're like, how are you a professional athlete? Like, I've played with guys who they can smoke, they can drink, and they can run 90 minutes. And I'm like, I don't know how you manage to do that. Have you ever played with those players? You don't have to name them.
yeah, like I play with boys. I have played with boys, play with boys now, and heard of boys who, you know, do go out often.
And they can go out and
I've
for
heard
a
of
game
players
and
who
still run.
smoke a pack a day.
Yeah.
Play.
It's crazy.
That blows my mind.
The old Aaron Moy diet.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to the individual.
Yeah.
Because, like, it sounds really cliche. Everyone's bodies are so different.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I've had an experience where we played a game. I went out.
Yeah.
Came back. Got injured.
Yeah. Okay.
And I did it again. I didn't like. Obviously, I was upset. Missed out a couple weeks. Did it again.
Right.
And I'm sitting there looking at these boys. I'm like, how do they do it?
How do they do
Yeah.
it?
Did it again.
Yeah.
Got injured.
So
This
clearly
like
you
this
just
the
can't-
day after the first day back at training.
Right.
So for me,
You can't go
I
out.
can't. If we have a very busy schedule, don't have a day off the next day. I got to
Yeah.
come in.
Yeah.
There's no chance in the world
Yeah.
I'm going out and doing anything.
That's probably.
But some boys can do it and
Yeah.
rock up to training and be the best players on the pitch.
It's
Don't know how.
insane. Yeah, it's insane.
So, yeah.
I played with a player that, to be fair, he had the technique of this table, right? But I love him to bits. Love him to bits. But he was so fit, and no matter what he did to his body, he was so fit, and he just would push it. And we're like, bro, like we got a game tomorrow. This is NPL, like. We got a game tomorrow, right? You probably shouldn't like write yourself off. He'd go out like rave until the morning, right? And one day we had a game, and he pushed it too hard. I don't even know if he slept. And he came and he played, and he was running down the wing, and he stopped, hands on knees, and he threw up on the pitch. This is an NPL 1 match, right? Hands on knees, threw up on the pitch, and I think at that point he realised he had a bit of a problem. He doesn't play in the NPL anymore. No, he's a plumber now. There you go. There's a lesson for you kids listening at home. It's a big week for us because, as you said, Arsenal is playing City. It's a big game for you guys. Also big because the Champions League's back, Kat. We've got a few questions coming in. Caleb Boyer, predictions for this week's Champions League games. I'm going to get some from both of you. PSG, Bayern. How do you see that one going, Paddy?
Bayern are looking good at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm a big Bayern supporter.
Okay.
Growing up,
Right.
ties in with the whole Germany.
Yeah, I
German
was
thing,
going to
ask. Who's home team?
PSG are at home
PSG will
in
win.
Paris. PSG will win?
Yeah.
Yeah? They had a big loss.
Messi, Mbappe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a big loss.
They had a big loss
last
on the
week.
weekend because Messi and Mbappe didn't play. So
Probably
I think
resting.
probably resting for this game.
Yeah, if they play, PSG will win.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Messi will play. Mbappe's got a bit of an injury cloud around him. So that'll be interesting to see. Bayern are just so good when it comes to Europe.
Did you see videos of Mane speaking German?
No, has he learnt
Yeah,
it?
he's
picked it up?
learnt it. Well, he's learning it.
He's
I love
he's
it.
forgotten about you guys.
I know.
He doesn't give a shit about
I
Liverpool
haven't
anymore.
forgotten about him.
He's forgotten about you guys. AC Milan, Tottenham, Kat. Who's winning that?
Oh, AC Milan.
You
I
think
don't
so?
know. I just don't want the Spurs to win.
Yeah, I
anything.
agree with you there. But I just think Antonio Conte could have something up his sleeve. He's a cheeky bugger. Club Brugge take on Benfica. Look, you might be a Bruges fan, a Benfica fan, but you'd also be forgiven if you skipped over that one. No, it's a decent game. It's a decent game, Kat.
Is it the timing?
It's a decent game there, but it's on at the same time as Dortmund-Chelsea.
Right.
Which one you be watching, Paddy?
Dortmund-Chelsea.
Dortmund-Chelsea.
Yeah.
Right, you'd be watching that one.
Same.
Who's winning that?
I reckon Dortmund.
Yeah,
I think
just-
Chelsea have a lot of new players.
Just shambles at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like they're still trying to figure themselves out, as
Yeah.
a club that's rebuilding. So I
Yeah.
think Dortmund will.
Yeah.
And they left Aubameyang out of their Champions League squad as well. What a
I
waste
would
of
As
agree
they
time.
with
should.
Paddy
What a-
on that
yeah,
one.
exactly, as they should. Eintracht Frankfurt, Napoli. We'd love to see Napoli.
Oh,
win.
yeah.
They're flying.
They're
I'm so on the
flying.
Napoli train.
Yeah, and the last one, here's one for you, Kat, because I smell something happening here. Liverpool, Real Madrid at Anfield. I smell something.
It's a lot of PTSD,
Yeah.
first of all.
Yeah.
Real Madrid are just so good at Champions League football, and they're just so good right now.
Wouldn't this be just like?
But
wouldn't it-
the
Isn't it an opportunity
morale
to
of the
save your
club,
season?
yeah. If we were to somehow do this,
Yeah.
it would be fantastic. And if
Yeah.
it's going to happen anyway, it's at Anfield.
That's what I mean. And it's
Yeah.
like, you can finish 12th this season, but if you knock Real Madrid out of Champions League, you
Oh, yeah.
save something there, right?
I'm waking up for that.
Yeah. Any chance? You give them a chance?
I feel like, especially with the nature of Liverpool's Premier League season at the
Yeah.
moment, I feel like Champions League is what's keeping
Yeah,
them going.
why not? Just
Yeah.
give your
So
all.
I think, but probably bar Barcelona at the moment. Madrid are probably the best club in the world
Yeah. Yeah.
in any competition.
I
so-
find that hard to disagree with.
Yeah.
So
So it'll be an interesting
you know.
game.
it'll just be a lot of prayers.
Well, this is why we love the Champions League, because the football is absolutely brilliant. Couple quick questions I'm going to fly through here. Aristamakos said, this isn't a question, whoever runs a Twitter account needs a pay rise. He's taking no shit. He is taking no shit. I'm not going to tell you. I can't reveal his name. It's not producer Shabs. It's no one on the couch. Someone else runs the Twitter account. And I will pass that on to him. He'll be very happy to hear that you guys like that, because he has been ripping into everyone on Twitter. So credit to him. Crispy04, big fan of the show. Club World Cup should change the format. They are changing the format, Crispy. In 2025, they're going to 32 teams. Real Madrid just won it on the weekend. Is that a major trophy for you, the Club World Cup? Do you count it? Liverpool won it
No,
not long ago.
no,
Do
but
do
if
you
your
care about
team's in it, you're going to watch it.
Do you care about
right?
it? The Club World Cup doesn't mean much.
If it's your club, yeah, of course you care about it.
If it's
Yeah.
not though,
If it's not your club, it's like
it's a Mickey Mouse trophy.
especially it's your like if you're a European club in the Club World Cup.
Agreed.
Yeah.
If you're not winning that thing, what are you doing?
Exactly
Seriously.
right.
True.
The pressure's too much.
Very
If you're a
true.
European club, you're expected to do it.
In theory, it's a great concept.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah,
everything
it
that we
is.
love,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, it
Yeah.
will get good. I'm telling you. In a couple of years' time, when they go to 32 teams and you get like 4 or 5 from Europe, a few from South
So
America.
how
I
do they
rate that.
decide like which 4 or 5?
They haven't decided it yet, right? So it's either they're going to do like, let's say, the semi-finalists of the Champions League,
Yeah.
or they're going to do it every few years and be like the 4 winners of the Champions League, and only have it, not have it every
Right.
year. You know, so they're still deciding that. Either way, I think it'll be awesome.
Yeah,
I think,
it'll
it's
be good.
I think it's a good change for it because every year gets a bit boring. But if it was every 4 years on a year that there's no international, you'd
Yeah,
tune in.
it's giving us what we want from the World Cup, which is all the best players.
Exactly.
But we're getting the
Exactly.
quality of club football.
Exactly. It'll be pretty sick. Last thing I do want to say, because there's a question for you on Cristiano. First, are you Ronaldo or Messi, man?
Messi.
Well, you're wearing the Messi shirt.
I was like, really?
Right. Because
silly.
they've written in here lots of support for Cristiano Ronaldo this week, who bagged 3 or 4 on the weekend. I think he bagged 4, didn't he? He's already 9th in the Golden Boot rankings. He joined halfway through the season, right? He's climbing up those rankings with his 4 goals on the weekends. For you, as a player looking at it, right, that you've now got so much ambition and you're picking right moves for your career, looking at Ronaldo at that end of his career, securing the bag, 200 million a year, going to Saudi Arabia, do you have any respect for that move?
100%.
Oh, you do, right? You can relate to him in that room?
I cannot. If anyone ever says
That they
they
wouldn't take it?
wouldn't take that,
Yeah.
they're lying. They have
Okay, there we
to.
go.
I don't even know if I can count how many zeros are on that paycheck.
yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Okay.
He's an icon. He's
Yeah.
established himself.
Yeah.
He's
Nothing
got nothing
to
to
prove,
prove.
eh? Yeah,
He's
yeah.
proven himself.
Yeah.
Why not? Oh, why not?
Wouldn't it
Honestly.
be good if you get an A-League club against him in the ACL? That would be...
Big
Then
fucker.
you'd be kicking yourself, yeah.
That's actually...
Imagine Sydney FC playing him next season. In the,
I never thought about it, and I'm excited about the potential for that.
Could have him here. Could have him here on
could.
home soil. It'd be
I
awesome.
think it'd be a hard thing.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, maybe not. Because I know they do like
they're on
East and
different
West.
sides. You'd have,
Yeah.
you'd have to
weird.
meet them in the knockout.
Yeah, and
It'd be pretty
yeah,
tough.
the Asian teams are good.
Yeah, they are very, very good, as you guys understood. But we'd love to see our Aussie teams going a little bit further. They have, of course, done it before. Western Sydney,
Wanderers,
Adelaide got to a final as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did back in the day, probably before your time.
maybe. Yeah,
You would have been a little. What year were you born?
02.
02. I think that was 08 that Adelaide made the final.
Maybe. Yeah, I was
It was-
not really
Yeah.
aware of.
Yeah, 02. Kat, how does that make you feel? 2002. I started school in 2002.
I remember 2002.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have memories of
2002 World Cup.
2002.
Do you remember 2002 World Cup?
No, not
Korea, Japan?
really.
No.
I think, and once again, I'm not really from a football family, so it wasn't
Yeah.
until I was old enough to kind of watch it myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, 02, I have
amazing.
good memories. I
That's
was in
amazing.
year 2.
Well, tell you what, a lot of people listening to the pod, 20 years of age, on his way to conquer Europe as well. Patty Yazbek, best of luck with your move, mate.
Thanks,
Enjoy the
man.
last week of training,
Thank
and
you.
hopefully you're gonna be playing because you came off the bench on the weekend. You're gonna play a bit of a cameo in this last game. do you
Yeah,
reckon?
yeah. Well, I'd assume so. If I'm hopefully, touch wood, stay fit till the
Definitely,
till
definitely,
Saturday.
definitely stay
Yeah,
fit.
I hope so. Have a good send off. Hopefully we can get the 3 points.
And then-
Amazing.
and then straight to Marbella
Yeah, straight to Marbella.
for
Yeah.
pre-season.
Pre-season.
How good is that?
That tan's
There's
going to
worse
be very
places.
good.
The tan's going to
Yeah.
be good, mate.
No, it's already pretty good at the moment. I think.
No, that's
I'm
what I
pretty happy.
mean.
Yeah, yeah.
If this is
Yeah.
how you're starting,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna end up really white by the time I get back.
Yeah, oh, you will, bro. You're not
Joel
gonna see
King
the sun.
actually is really white at the moment.
Yeah?
Just come back from Denmark. So.
Yeah. Massive, bro. We look forward to it. Everyone, make sure you're following Patty Yazbek and his journey over there in Norway. Find him on all his socials and that. We're keen to see how you guys get on. 3 Aussies playing for Vikings. So if you don't have a team in Norway, which I'd be surprised if you do. If you don't have a team in Norway, you should
No,
be
you do.
adopting
Hop on the Vikings.
Viking FK. That's the team to support. Thanks so much for joining us, Kat. As always, thank you very much. And we've got a special episode coming up as well later this week with our good friend Nick Stab, who's going to be joining us for a
the
bit of a
unofficial
tease.
member of Born
The
Offside.
unofficial member of Born Offside. So until then, guys, make sure you subscribe to the pod, follow us on everything you follow on, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.